Hey everybody, AC here, and welcome back to another episode of Danny Phantom Vlogs Revisit. This time, we are talking about my top 12 favorite enemies in Danny Phantom. So, let's just go ahead and jump into it. I thought about naming this my favorite ghosts, but there is one character on here that's technically not a ghost. So, but he's still like one of my favorite enemies ever. Um, and I'm sure you'll figure it out as we go. I've already mentioned he's like my favorite. He's like my favorite villain several times throughout this. Um, so number 12 is the Fright Knight. The Fright Knight is a pretty cool villain, and I like how like Danny never actually defeats him. Danny never actually defeats the Fright Knight. He accidentally unleashes him and then has to reseal him away. And then um and then when he comes back, it's during Rainstorm, and he's just serving Pariah Dark, and he ultimately ends up betraying Pariah Dark, and ends up working for Vlad, and then nothing really ever comes of that. To be honest, nothing ever really comes of that. We don't really see him again after that, which is unfortunate. But he's still a really cool character. He's still a really cool character. And yeah, I like how this is just a villain that Danny is not able to beat. So number 11, Technus. Now I do think Technus is a really cool villain. He just is stuck with like, he gets like 5 episodes about him, and like the first 3 that are all about him are not good. I don't like those episodes. And then the last two, Identity Crisis, and oh poop, what was it? Oh, something love. Oh God, I can't remember anymore. But anyway, the one with Valerie, where he gets his, where he takes over a satellite. That's gonna bug me. I'm certain after I finish recording this, I'm gonna remember what it's called, and then I'm just gonna be beating myself for not remembering it. But yeah, those 2 episodes about Technus, those were good. The others, no, they weren't. But those last 2 episodes are really good. I do really like both of those episodes. Those are both good episodes. Honestly, that's it. There's not really much else to say about that one. Number 10, Box Ghost. Honestly, this is just for the comedy factor. It always gets a chuckle out of me whenever I see Box Ghost show up and go, beware! It gets a chuckle out of me. It gets a chuckle out of me every time. It's nice to see that there are, like, you know, comic relief enemies in the show. And even when he is a legitimate threat, when he gets his hands on Pandora's box and he actually does become a legitimate threat, there's still elements of comic relief in there. So, yeah. Um, Number 9, Skulker. And again, like Skulker, he's an iconic villain. He's like one of Danny's most iconic villains. And he also kind of becomes the de facto leader of the ghosts in the Ghost Zone. As the series goes on. And so he's a pretty cool character. It sucks that he's never really a threat. He's never really that big of a threat after his introduction episode. He's never that much of a threat again. Actually, no. There is one other time when he was a legitimate threat. It was in Girls' Night Out when he was hunting Danny. He was hunting Danny on the lake, and that was because Danny couldn't exactly go ghost whenever he wanted with Jack there. So he was an actual threat there. But yeah, Skulker's a pretty cool and interesting villain. And I always forget that until I see the little thing inside that suit. I always forget that that's a suit, and that's not what he looks like. So yeah, number 8, Vlad Plasmius. I mean, again, I don't need to really explain myself here. It's Vlad Plasmius. Probably the most iconic villain in the series. Like when people try to think of Danny's arch enemy, they think of Vlad Plasmius. He is just kind of the main antagonist throughout pretty much the whole series. So yeah, like he's always planning something. He's always got strategies, and every time Danny won, it's because Vlad wanted him to win. Vlad wanted Danny to win. Vlad wanted Danny to win, and continued to underestimate Danny, which allowed Danny to get stronger and stronger and stronger until eventually Danny was able to easily beat him. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see Vlad not only be like this constant source of headache for Danny, but also a constant source of motivation. Danny spent the majority of the series trying to learn how to duplicate himself just like Vlad could, and he finally managed to do it in season 3. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Number 7, Dark Danny. Dark Danny. Yeah. Dark Danny is here. At number 7. I knew he was going to be on this list, but I like my top 6 just so much more. To the point where like I feel very happy anytime they're on screen. And Dark Danny, he is a cool villain. He is a cool villain, and he could absolutely like fight circles around anyone else on this list. But in terms of my personal favorites, he's number 7. And again, I don't need to explain myself. It's Dark Danny. Everyone knows how powerful he is. Everyone knows how smart he is. So yeah, let's just move on. Number six. Number six is the Ghost King, Pariah Dark. It's the Ghost King. It's the king of all ghosts. It's the one ghost that all other ghosts fear. It's the fucking devil himself, Pariah Dark. Enough said. Honestly, enough said. Number 5, Undergrowth. Mark Hamill. I don't need to explain further. Just Mark Hamill. There you go. Number 4, Ember. Tara Strong. There you go. Just Tara Strong. Don't need to expound further. Tara Strong. Number 3, Desiree, the Wishing Ghost. Now this one is mainly because of her backstory. It is so tragic, and I feel so bad for her character. And her design is so cool. And I love the whole gimmick about her. How like she never got her heart's wish. She never got her heart's wish when she was alive, and so now she is just cursed to forever grant other people's wishes and never her own. She will never get what she desires, and now she's forced to watch other people be happy. She's forced to watch other people get what they want. And so, yeah, that's pretty crazy. So that makes me feel real bad for her. And you know, I love both of the episodes having to do with Desiree. I think they're both wonderful episodes. She is honestly the one ghost scare. She's honestly one of the only ghost characters that I legitimately love every single episode having to do with her. Like Walker, he's a pretty cool villain. But he only had one good episode. The second time he shows up and is in the episode that introduces Wolf, and Wolf is the main focus of that episode. So he's barely an afterthought in that episode. And then same thing with the third time he shows up. He's barely an afterthought. It's mostly Wolf. So Walker kind of got overwritten in his own episodes by Wolf. Walker got overshadowed in his own episodes by Wolf. As much as I love Walker as a threat, he only had one good episode, which is why he's not on this list. But I say that as an example. Desiree, both her episodes were amazing. I loved both of her episodes. They were both amazing. They were both incredible. So yeah, so that's why she's here on the list. Number 2, Nocturne. He only shows up once, but my god, he has the coolest design for a ghost. I love his design. His design is awesome. His power is awesome. The fact that he's voiced by Avatar Roku is awesome. His minions are really cool. They have pretty basic designs, granted, but it's still interesting designs with sewn eyes shut to show that they are like always asleep, and then they're called sleepwalkers, and that's really cool. And just he gets power from people's dreams. He just gets power from people's dreams. So there's technically not really a limit as to how powerful he could get. Like the only limit is the number of living creatures in the world, because like it's for every living creature. It's not just humans; it's animals too. So yeah, it's really cool. So it's really cool. So he could potentially become like the most powerful ghost in existence. And, like, the fact that his power... That's the thing. He doesn't even make you have a nightmare. No, he gives you the most pleasant dream ever. Whatever is, like, your ideal life, he lets you dream about that. He lets you dream about that. And with his power, you will never truly die because he needs you in order to remain powerful. So with his power, you'll never truly die. You're just kind of like living your best life in this dream. And I'm like, that doesn't sound too bad. It's like, yeah, it's a lie. Yeah, it's a lie, but honestly, that doesn't sound like a bad trade-off. You never die in the real world, and you just continue to live your best life. You just continue to live your best life in this dream. That sounds great. That sounds amazing. He's such a cool villain, and I love the way they beat him. And oh god, he's just so awesome. I love Nocturne. He would be my favorite if it weren't for one character, and those of you who have been watching this revisit know who I'm talking about. Number 1, Freak Show. I love Freak Show. He is my favorite villain in this series. Personally, I view Freak Show as the perfect Danny Phantom villain. I really do. I view him as the perfect Danny Phantom villain because while other opponents challenge Danny physically in tests of strength, Freak Show outsmarts Danny at every turn. Freak Show is able to outsmart Danny at every turn, and basically trick him into doing exactly what he wants him to do. And that's so cool. And yeah, Freak Show only appears twice. He only gets one movie, and then he gets one episode, and then a TV movie, and that's it. But you know what? That's fine. That's fine by me. That's fine. I do wish he had gotten one more episode. But you know what? It's fine. It's fine. He was relegated to the season finale. He was relegated to season finales. He was relegated to the season 1 finale. He was relegated to the season 1 finale and season 2 finale. So he was the final boss in each season, and I love that. I love that he's the final boss in each season. That's super cool. Supposedly, if there had been a fourth season, Butch said that if there had been a fourth season, then he would have brought Freak Show back for one more episode at the end of season 3, and then he would have saved Phantom Planet for the end of he would have saved Phantom Planet for season 4, but he wouldn't have had it be the series finale. He would have had Graduation Day be the series finale. But Phantom Planet would have happened a little later. But yeah. So I'm curious what Freak Show's whole shtick would have been. We never really got to see what he could do in his ghost form in Reality Trip. So maybe he found a way to become a ghost again, and then we could see what he's capable of in his ghost form in that 3rd episode. That'd be cool. But yeah, I love Freak Show. He is such a cool villain. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.